can't have it. No, it's made with chocolate. Chocolate's very bad. I maybe want the bad. Hey everybody, how we doing? It's that time, it's that day, it's that thing. There really is a giant brownie. Look at that. It's pretty big. Kind of excited. Those are white chocolate chips. I'm a little excited. Because when you get a little older in your life, your priorities change. And, oh my god, that brownie looks delicious can become a thing. Anyway, you know who I am, and if you don't, I'm Adam S., GM of the Copperheads, League Dad, General all-around random stuff person of things in that place. It's gonna be a short one today. I had some lunch with my wife, so I'm a little behind my normal schedule. So I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right into questions. I'm also gonna keep waving my hand quickly enough across the screen that the camera doesn't know what the fuck's going on, which is always important. Alright, so let's jump into questions. Let's see if anybody covers any of the things that I think are going to get covered. Bacon Brother, Mr. Mertzy, right away. Do you feel the quarterback power rankings have not done justice to Easton Cole with his number 3 ranking? Or do you feel he should be ranked? I know exactly why you asked this question, because I did make a comment in general chat about it. I was poking a little fun at the ranking because he was ranked number 3, and the reason some of the reasoning used was like, oh, he needs to get his yards up, but he was clearly leading in touchdowns over the person who was ranked ahead of him and had a better passer rating and had more accuracy, and that was before the 5 touchdown game that brought his accuracy and his touchdown total even higher. So I think if you don't have Easton Cole as one of the top 2 quarterbacks up until now through week 6, because we don't know what's going to happen in 2 hours. But if you don't have Easton Cole as one of your top 2 quarterbacks right now, you need to reevaluate literally all of your life decisions. All of them. The idea that he doesn't get credit because we actually have a competent run game is ridiculous. He doesn't need yards. He gets touchdowns. Touchdowns are the point. You can pass for 90 yards and not get a touchdown, or you can pass for 20 yards and get a touchdown, and the better, more successful person is the 20 yards and a touchdown because they got the actual end goal. Boom. Boom. Okay, she's already napping. Yeah, I feel like she should be top 2. With a win over the Otters on the road and Hawks, okay. And a tough, oh, you mean the ones we already had. Win over the Otters and Hawks and a tough loss to the SaberCats and OT. Have these changed any perceptions for you on the Copperheads season? No. No, we're about where we thought we'd be, and we really still think we can make a push for the playoffs. And it was like I said before, we're at that point where we're good enough that the sim can screw us over. The OT loss to San Jose sort of illustrates that. So, in that the sim does wonky things at times, and that was a game where that happened. So it is what it is. Nothing more that can be done for it. We're in a position where anything can happen in any given game. Hopefully, things keep looking up. We'll see. We'll see if the sim is kind to us. We've got some new and interesting strats in this week. So we'll see what happens. What are your thoughts on the recent trades done by Chicago? And then there's a link that doesn't actually work. Even I know how to make a link work in a forum post. Okay, if you can't accomplish something I can accomplish technologically, I can't even say the word. See, you should. I've been paying attention to their trades because I usually pay attention to most trades. I think they seem to have a plan, and I'm not inclined to crap all over them until I know what the plan is. Yeah, that's really all. Let's wait for their plan to be revealed or to be more obvious. But it looks like they're thinking long term. So that's the only way I can really view it, and can't hate that. We don't know what's going on in the locker room. We don't know what their priorities are. We don't know what the end result roster looks like for them, because you have that idea in mind. Here's when it gets to a complete picture, it's going to look like this. We don't know what that looks like to them, so we can't really judge the moves along the way. You can judge the quality of individual moves in terms of assets received versus assets lost, but you can't necessarily judge the why or the how it got to that point or the importance level to them or anything else like that. So, I mean, you can, you just shouldn't as much. Shouldn't take it so seriously. Don't assume you know everything. There you go. That's a better way to put that. What is your favorite type of seal clothing? Whatever. Would you rather fight 30 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? Didn't we do this? Ducks are assholes. It's probably the horses. Definitely the horses, yes. That one was easy. It's not a desert island. Moody. In preseason statistical articles, the Copperheads' defense was ranked 4th and the offense was ranked 7th. Why have these takes proven to be way off so far? I'll talk to you about that in the locker room. That's one of those things that we don't do publicly. But I have a couple of really strong ideas that I've been working with, and the Hawks game sort of bore some of that out to fruition. So we'll talk about that a little bit later in private. With the current constant moving of Norfolk Seawolves in the last week, what is your opinion on team locations? Should NSFL teams be in big markets and DSFL teams be in small, or should it be the current crapshoot? I have a medium level belief that the NSFL team should be at least in reasonable markets. Yellowknife, for example, is the obvious go-to. It's not a reasonable market. Everything else is. DSFL teams they're minor league teams. Minor league teams do things all the time. And it's not like they're tiny markets. Norfolk, Virginia is a fairly sizable market, and the area around it is as well. So, or actually they moved to South Carolina, North Carolina. It's sort of the same difference. It's not the exact same, but it's sort of the same region sort of thing, where you may not have one gigantic city, but you've got like a dozen medium-sized cities in a relatively small area. And so you sort of plop down in an area, and then it's like the overall that becomes your market rather than one in particular. But it's not that big a deal, to be honest. It's really not that big a deal. I think we're past the point where Yellowknife should be moved, for example. The ship has sailed. So I don't want to say it's... If we were going for super realism, sure, but we're really not doing that. So, where should the Seawolves end up? Washington, Hamburger, or somewhere else? My vote would be they move to the capital of Mongolia and become the... Yeah, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Wherever they want to go, I think. We have rules to stop people from moving too much or doing too dumb of a thing. So let's just play within those rules and let everybody have fun. That's my theory. I think they should just go where they want to go. Okay. Thank you for your questions. Raven, after 5 games, 2 and 3, yeah. The current standings of the NSFL, I can't talk. Reflect what you originally had predicted. That's kind of the same question. Any big surprised, teams playing better, worse than expected? Did you take this on your phone? NOLA got a bigger jump right away than I thought they would. The Yeti got a bigger jump than I thought they would. I thought they were both at least a season away from hitting the level that they're already at. We'll see what happens. But honestly, it's kind of where I thought it would be. You can tell there's definitely a ton of parity in the league right now. And that was something that I had stressed before the season started. So a lot of things are very close. but a lot of things could go any different way than they already have. So I think it is roughly where it should be. It's going to be interesting to see what happens down the stretch in the back half of the season, just for that reason. Any players that have stood out so far for good or bad reasons? My own players. I focus more on my own team than anybody else's. It's what you do as a GM. You focus more on making sure your people are doing what they need to do and having fun and all those things. I hope you're focusing if you're a GM when your team having fun and doing what they need to do. That would be bad if you weren't. So I'm not seeing as much in terms of what other teams are doing. Little surprised by the shakiness of Cooter Bigsby. There's that. I think everyone kind of predicted there'd be more for him this season, and could just be as simple as Sam Luck isn't with him. It's a thing. How has DT been treating Dick? It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not like a stats heavy position, but it's also an important sort of behind the scenes position in that I should probably actually read the rest of the question. As a GM, you look at a team needs and adjust to them, but do you wish you could have stayed at wide receiver? Well, I was a running back. Maybe it wasn't on your phone. Maybe you were just in a mode. Let's see, 3:37 my time, so you would have probably just woken up. So you were maybe a little tired when you were at these, but I don't think it's that much of a secret that after the whole season 14 debacle, my passion for the running back position kind of dropped off. I thought, I had a whole set of plans and goals, and then they just got wiped off the face of the earth, essentially. For a player who retired, by the way, good job. But DT I've been enjoying. It's got its own little quirks, and being able to battle test some things using my own position instead of another player has been very helpful. I feel like it's helped me get a much better grasp of the defensive side of the ball in terms of play calling for the sim and understanding where things are more likely to go. So I'm enjoying it. I might come back as a D lineman. I don't know. We'll see. I hit regression after this year and got a really stacked team, and I'm considering a retirement at some point here in the very near future, and so I'm considering my next player and what's going to happen. So we'll see. But it's nice when people treat Dick well. Treat your Dick well. Saba, please rank the following by how much they suck: Scorp, Saba, Numbers, Dermot, or Cooter. You get Dermot and Cooter at the top, or I guess at the bottom, because they don't suck. They suck the least, so Dermot and Cooter are down at the bottom. And then Saba, I have no issues with, so we'll put you above them. And then probably Scorp, and then Numbers all the way at the king of sucking. He knows what he did. He's not surprised. Why? For those of you who didn't actually go look at the questions thread, every question he has is in a different font, and like I know he's just expecting me to go nuts over it. So there you go. Which pair of league members do you think would make the ideal GM team, not counting GM teams that currently exist? Ideal team, not counting the ones that currently exist. Easy joke. No. There's so many things that go into being a good GM, and there's so many things that go into being a good GM team. It's kind of hard to quantify because everything is situational as well. Depending on the team you get, the team you're building, where your team's at. So it's hard to say these two would be the perfect pair because it depends on the situation and how long it takes them to get to where they want to go. And real life stuff we can't predict. Why Well, my hands look like a different color than the other one. Isn't that weird? Like this one seems darker and this one seems lighter. I don't know why. I feel like I'm haunting my own Vidcast. What do you think? D's nuts and no. I don't know. I don't know. No comment. I have okay. It's not that I don't have some answers, and I don't know why I'm pointing at the back of my head, but I do that when I refer to myself. It's not that I don't have answers. It's that explaining the answers would require me to give up some information that I don't want to give up strategically. So there you go. You hit on a question where I kind of have to say no comment due to strategy. What the? I'm not going to read that. What do you think of these fonts? I'm glad I already covered that. I don't even know what the, I'm not going to... I'm not... Whatever that fucking bubble question is, what the fuck? Bro, no, okay, look. Executive decision. You just went above Scorp on the sucks meter. You went from middle of the pack to above Scorps and right underneath numbers. Good job. Good job. Good job. Vert. I missed questions last week. That's okay. I'm a rookie, so I'm going to keep on asking questions about rookies. You're also GM, but why not? Going back to the draft up till now, name one or two rookies that have stood out to you the most, whether for good reasons or bad reasons. Well, there was this one rookie I tried to trade for, but the GM wouldn't even let me make an offer because he wanted to turn him into a GM. Good reasons or bad reasons? I mean, I mostly don't go into the bad reasons as much. There have been people. I talk to my team about that. I'm pretty open with them about potential prospects. When I do my scouting, I share the scouting report with the team so that they can add any insights. And there are certain situations where a person is just completely written off, not because they're a player, but because who they are and because I don't really want them in the locker room. But I'm not gonna like put people on blast that way. Not so much anyway, because there's no point in that. And because, to be honest, if you are someone who's on the no-no list, which is what it's called, is the no-no list, if you're on the no-no list, it's usually something I don't necessarily have to explain to other people. I can just be like, this person. They go, oh yeah, okay, I get that. Yeah. If you had the ability to steal any one player from any other team, who would it be and why? You totally want me to say you, don't you? Franklin Armstrong. I'm not going to play him. I just want to sit him on the bench. Make the playoffs. Take out probably the best team. Take out your quarterback. Because if you suddenly have to produce a quarterback, you're going to do it internally, and you're going to do it from another high-ranking player in another important position. So either way, I weaken probably our greatest threat to get to and through the playoffs this year. There you go. And then I'll probably trade Armstrong to like Chicago or something for copious amounts of picks. And win, baby! I really shouldn't do this motion. Wait, you gotta cock your head and do this motion. You can't be like, you gotta like. And the face. The face is important. What do you think? I'm glad you love me. Alright, thank you for your questions, Vert. Uppernet, early Rookie of the Year nominees. I answer this every week. Every week I answer this. So, Bex and you and Xavier. Those are my answers every week. Copperhead, Yeti, Otter, Second Line, Wraith, Outlaw, Butcher, Sabercat, Hawk, and Liberty had a battle royal. They're all the same size as Godzilla. Who would win? Not the fucking citizens. They're all the same size as Godzilla. Well, here's the thing. Holy shit. That is a giant snake. Liberty's a concept. And they're symbols of bell, so it doesn't matter how big the bell is. Most of those are individuals. But a second line, even as an individual thing, a second line is actually a unit, is actually a group. Second line refers to a group of people behind a parade. who are involved in the parade. They can be quite large. So numerically, a second line is going to have an advantage. Even though you specified it as a singular unit has multiple people in it. Usually with instruments, and usually they've been drinking. So I'm going to go with the second line. Bex, what's one thing you wish every GM in the league did? Remember that it's about fun. Remember that there's a point where your stratagems and your theories on how to make the team perfect need to take a slight back seat to the individual player and the fun they're having. That would be my thing that I wish every GM knew, every GM followed through on. Think about more than yourself. Same thing with rules and voting. Think about more than yourself. Think about the whole league. Think about the fun everyone can have. Think about what you're taking away from everyone if you decide you don't want something to exist because you don't personally like it. Think about, I wish everybody knew this, to be honest, not just GMs. Think about more than just your personal biases. That's my message out there. Do that. I have personally supported so many things that I didn't personally like, but the league wanted it, or the league would improve because of it. There are so many things I would like to happen, but won't, because they're not good for the league. I would love carryover TPE. It's amazing. Most of the arguments against it are fucking bullshit.
Yeah, well, it makes it harder for people to...
Whatever. Like, you don't like it and you try to make the argument. Look, that's not important. But I've been on record, despite my support of it, saying it does not work in this league. We cannot have it in this league. I will never support it in this league because it's about the league. It's not about what I want personally. And in this league, we have a culture that says you start at 0 and you work your way up and you get no benefits TPE wise for having been already a loyal player. Whatever errors in judgment I think go into that, that is the culture. And I'm going to fight to protect that. Because it's bigger than what I personally think or want. Thoughts on all the old vets returning to the league? It's always a good thing. It happens off and on. It's great. It's great. It's great to have somebody like a former GM who just re-showed up. And it's cool because you've got like 9 teams that are going to be excited to try to bring him in. If he sticks it out, that's awesome. Anytime you get the old vets back and they get to interact with the new people and you get kind of like this mix and people have sort of reignited their passion and their fun for it, that's always great. And I hope we see more of that. Sometimes people just need to go away for a little bit and kind of recalibrate and come back. So, if your 5-year-old self suddenly found themselves inhabiting your current body, what would your 5-year-old self do first? Probably hug my wife. Yeah, my 5-year-old self would definitely immediately, because I assume my 5-year-old self gets my brain as well, definitely immediately seeking out that person who loves you unconditionally, just feeling that warmth that is not a secret. My 5-year-old self didn't really get that. My 5-year-old self was tortured and beaten, mostly. I know this got way more serious than you anticipated. I had a really awful childhood. I did. And it's the reason that my 5-year-old clone over here, even though she's actually over there, does not have that problem. But, yeah. My 5-year-old self would immediately gravitate towards the love I didn't have. Yeah. And it would probably play with my dick, too. Because I don't care who you are. If you suddenly have a dick, you're going to play with it. That's borne out by literally the entire history of teenage boys. That's borne out by every person I know who has transitioned to male from female, of which is at least 3 or 4 now. I lose count sometimes because I kind of forget that it happened. And every single time it was, and then I played with my dick, and it was amazing. Yeah, oh, we know. That's what I would do. And the other more serious thing. But yeah. Also, one of the rough things about being who I am, I'm honest. I'm going to tell you how I feel. And other things, so I sometimes jump into serious topics that other people aren't necessarily ready for them. Or they're not ready for my response to it, which is laughter. And because even though those are horrible, horrific, painful things, like, they happen. They're done. I've dealt with them. Who I am now is so much of a more centered and balanced and happy person who tries to treat other people well. And so when I look back at like horrible things my mother did or something, when I say things like, "Oh, the state of Texas actually got involved," that's how horrible it is. Because most people in the U.S. will understand the state of Texas is like, "Nah, we don't give a shit. Do whatever the fuck you want to anybody. Nobody's gonna care. It's all good." And then you think it was in the '80s when it was significantly worse. Because the state of Texas is definitely like, no, who gives a shit about human beings? We got money and oil and fuck the brown people. And okay, I'm not very fond of some parts of Texas, so that may be biasing what I'm saying here, but it's pretty true. Like, so it's usually the go-to I use for people like, oh my god, Texas got involved in the '80s? Holy shit! But that human being that I was at 5, for a lot of people, I think it would be like a thing that they carry, like a burden, and that's okay. That's everybody's emotions are different, but for me, it's just like a look where I was, look what I've become. It's amazing, etc., etc. So it can be somewhat off-putting the way I respond to what are incredibly deadly, serious, and awful things. So now I've rambled way too much about it. Daisy, I think it's time for me to go to work. I think it's time for me to eat this fucking brownie, is what it's time for. Brownie. I better stop shaking it. I'm gonna break the damn thing. Yes. So I'm gonna do all that. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing about like because I just wanted to have fun. I didn't know I was gonna touch on all this. I'm gonna tell my wife about this. It's funny. What? What? Do you hear something? She's just staring at the door for no reason. She just like popped her head up. She's staring at the door like something's gonna happen. Nothing's happened. Nobody's out there. She barked at a chair earlier. We went downstairs, she was walking, she went like, and it was a fucking chair. She barked at a chair. That's what she did. You bark at chairs. That's your name. Barks at chairs. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this off. This is a short one. I understand. I apologize. Go Copperheads. Got a big game on the road against Orange County today here in a couple hours that I hope works out well, but you know, it's more of a lower percentage game. Those things happen. I'll actually get to be around for Double Sim Friday this week, so that's awesome. Can't wait for that as well. So until then, for my 5-year-old self, for Daisy, gonna be on camera one more time. Come here. For us, for my family, for that painting, which is just fucking amazing. For my 5-year-old self, for Sam, for the Copperheads. Yeah. Now is when she wants to be affectionate. It's because she knows she's on camera. Because you're a ham, isn't it? Yeah, good instinct. Let's end it the way we started it. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. I will see you on the boards. I will see you on the forums. I will see you with the next punishment for another Copperhead player. I'm sure it'll be in the next couple of days. I think Tomas, I think it's your turn to get on doing something. For all of us, to all of you, have a good day, and see you.